Brew,
Yeah.
are you worried about the Browns?
Well, first, what's with the shirtless press conferences?
I don't have an issue with that.
Have we seen other team?
Oh, yeah.
Now we've seen two guys, Myles Garrett and him.
Don't hate it, Brew. I mean,
I'm just
maybe
saying.
it's like, I
join
like it.
in.
I mean, I could.
From Cleveland, bro. Just tat it up. Like, wow, bro. Like Kevin Durant.
So what
The question is, are you worried?
I fully expect the Ravens to win. With this team, I'll never say never. Like,
Wow.
the Browns, for being a team that hasn't really been good for a while, they play tough in this division. We know they've had a winning record against the Bengals. They've won 2 of the last 3 against the Ravens, 3 of the last 5 against the Ravens. And remember, 2 years ago, I remember watching that game closely. The Ravens were up like 31-17 late in the game.
Oh, that's the Flacco game?
Yeah. They gave up 16 points in the fourth quarter. It was just what we saw against Buffalo. And so, like I said, I comfortably feel that the Ravens will win. But it is possible in this division.
The answer is
they
yes.
lost game 2 last year.
Well, that's
they
lost last year.
I won't send out a celebratory tweet till 60 minutes after the game.
So
just in case something happened that I didn't see.
So, I mean, last year they lost in heartbreaking fashion in week 1 to one of the other top AFC contenders. They then luckily had a get-right game against the Raiders. They were up 10 with 10 minutes left. And, Brew, you're not going to believe this. Got conservative on offense, went 3 and out, and found a way to lose to last year's Raiders team.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing I will say. Cleveland, on a down-to-down basis, I thought played well week 1.
Yeah.
The problem is, situationally and special teams, they were a disaster. Now, part of that is because they're the Browns. And the Browns, Browns will find a way to lose games. And so I would not be worried if I were you, but I will say if I were you and somehow they find a way to have this game be in the balance in the fourth quarter, then it's a team you can't believe in.
So, and that's
and if they lose quickly, then who they got? The Chiefs or
They have
Detroit?
the Chiefs in 2 weeks. I think
They
Detroit-
got like
the Ravens.
yeah, they got
The Ravens
Detroit
would
and
have,
Detroit and Kansas City. I mean,
Detroit,
and
Kansas
even
City,
after that, you got some.
Houston, Rams.
So it would really.
It's not. I know we're all thinking, well, don't worry. But when you look at the Cleveland Browns, like defensively, this is where they hang their hat.
Yes.
Like, and they're looking at this offensive unit like, look, we're just as good as you are defensively as you are offensively. And so it could very well be a stalemate. Like what Derrick Henry was able to do against the Buffalo Bills. Now he's been stellar throughout the course of his career. But I don't believe that he's going to run over this defense like that.
I agree.
That's just not what they do. Now, if that happens, absolutely blowout. The spread is what it is. Yeah. They got it right. If they can't run the ball and this defense keeps them in the game, Joe Flacco going back to Baltimore for the first time.
Well, that's the other crazy thing. He's never played in Baltimore since He's been going.
Yeah, him never playing in Baltimore does add an interesting layer to it that I didn't know because it's been so long, and so that is surprising. And Joe Flacco is still is still a dude, right? And still a competitor, still an athlete, and can still play quarterback. But so that is actually the biggest question mark because there is a lot of truth to when you play your old team and all of that. Everyone rallies, rises to the occasion, rallies around that person. We've seen that a million times, and I've talked about it a lot over these months because it happens regularly. So that is a real thing. But I'm just gonna put that to the side, honestly, because I feel like it's kind of crazy. I felt the Baltimore Ravens were devastating against the Buffalo Bills. I know they lost that game. I know it got away from them. I know that. But I was watching a team that was comfortably dominant without really needing such a dominant performance, specifically from their quarterback even. And I know Derrick Henry obviously feasted, so we could say, well, Derrick Henry was like exceptionally dominant. Like he was literally like, he was legitimately like unstoppable. And so I get that. And he's not going to be able to do that every single game to every single team. We know that. If he did, he'd have, 3,200 rushing yards. But I guess I just saw a team that was able to really do whatever they wanted offensively. Like you're saying, oh, if they can't run the ball, and it's like, well, then they'll throw the ball. Like, okay. And I believe that they'll still be able to run the ball. Will they be able to be as devastating as they were? No. And I do think as much as we saw Lamar Jackson do like that one scramble, which was absolutely incredible, you do want to see less moments of that because Lamar Jackson does sometimes get caught. I think he got caught against the Bills where he tried to get away and he took like a bigger loss than he needed. And that's always on the table with a Lamar Jackson. And I always compare it to like the Steph Curry. Steph Curry can be making all these logo threes and he can have a game where he goes 8 for 10 from 3. And because of his greatness, he can also go 1 for 10 from 3. And so like sometimes Lamar Jackson gets caught in that moment and it's frustrating when it happens. And there's other moments when you're just like, oh my God, Lamar, what are you doing going backwards? And then he gets away with it and you're just like, oh my God, Lamar, what are you doing? That's amazing. And it's just like, what am I watching here? It's just always mind blowing. But I mean, I saw the Baltimore Ravens, I watched every single game and I saw the Baltimore Ravens as an undeniably top team in the NFL. I know the defense didn't look great technically speaking, and that's what they're saying about the Bills, but my whole thing is that you're going up against I know it's always hard for Ravens fans to accept that Josh Allen is elite and awesome, and it's hard for Buffalo Bills fans to accept that Lamar Jackson is elite and awesome. Like, get over it. Both quarterbacks are special. Both quarterbacks are great. Both quarterbacks have the ability to torch your defense, no matter how great your defense is. That's the way this works, man. That's the way this works. So I just can't confidently draw any conclusions about the Baltimore Ravens defense. I just can't. Because it was against Josh Allen. And I can't draw any conclusions about the Buffalo Bills defense because it was against Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. That once things open up a little bit in the run game, both Lamar and Derrick Henry will be devastating on the ground. And so do I expect Joe Flacco to be able to do what Josh Allen did against this Baltimore Ravens defense? No. I simply do not expect that. I do not expect that at all. At all. Now, the one caveat is that it is a divisional game and it's wonky and it's weird and the Ravens have lost random games like this and it is kind of like, bro, like what are you doing? And that is where I will look to the hardballs of the team and be like, come on, this is ridiculous. So it's like, I'm not worried at all, but it also wouldn't surprise me either to a degree. But at the same time, and this is what I've said in years past, and the Ravens have burned me with this take, to be fair, where I'm like, oh my God, after a loss like that, they're going to come out the gate and just be, unstoppable, dominant, on one, and then they don't. And you're just like, how? Like, how is this possible? And I know the Browns can be feisty again, especially within the division. They've proven that. And I know their defense can be really disruptive and high quality. I know all that. But I just think a full strength Baltimore Ravens offense has the ability to put up as much points as you ever need in any football game. In any football game. So I wouldn't be worried. The only worry comes from just the sense of, well, we know it's football. We know any given Sunday. We know it's a divisional game, right? Like that type of worry, but not like an actual, I don't know, that defense, like there's different degrees of worries here, You'd be like, that defense, I think Joe Flacco is going to be able to really wheel and deal. And it's just like, okay. The two things that I would be worried about is Joe Flacco returning to Baltimore, which I think is a legitimately real thing. Whether he still has enough juice to be able to make that a thing, who knows? And two, just the fact that it's any given Sunday, it's a divisional game, and we see bizarre things all the time, like the Raiders losing to the the Raiders and whatnot. And they lost to the Browns last season with whatever the heck his name is. I can't think of it right now. Quarterback who's not very good, Jameis Winston. And so I think it was Jameis Winston, if memory serves me correctly. So we'll see. But I'm expecting the Baltimore Ravens to be in control. And here's the thing too. What is kind of interesting, on one side, if they lost this game, or if it wasn't like a clear-cut win, it was like a weird 14-13 game or something like that. And they got lucky that so the Browns missed an extra point, and like we could come away from that game saying, wow, the Ravens could have lost that game. Then I would probably chalk it up to a divisional game. Now, if it's a shootout and Joe Flacco's wheeling and dealing, you'd have to really be like, okay, was this just him returning to Baltimore and wanting to be that? Like, you'd have to unpack it a lot more to really be like, what's the story here? Like, were the receivers just gashing the secondary? You'd have to really kind of think about what the conclusions are. But I mean, in terms of like the way how they mean, should you be worried about this Ravens team, or should you be worried on Sunday? It's hard for me to get there. I mean, it really is. It's hard for me to get there. And yeah. Also, don't the Browns want to lose? Don't they want to draft a quarterback? But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Baltimore Ravens? Should you be worried about them? Worried about Joe Flacco lighting them up? Don't hate on Flacco too much. He did get you all a Super Bowl. But let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.